And welcome to the Daily Space Weather Show. I'm your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. This is a 24-hour video, and we're going to be showing you a bunch of different time frames today. So there's a reason for it, and it's because some of the videos are oddly a different time frame. We'll get into it. These are 24-hour videos right now at 30 frames per second. We're showing 211 plus 171 angstroms because they're great at showing plasma filaments and the extended corona. Of course, a lot of people will be looking at the corona, so we're showing some of those features. And before we show any more of those features, check us out on Instagram if you haven't. We've got some photographs from here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania of the solar eclipse. So check that out. Instagram.com/Smash-O-Mash, and there is another 24-hour video for you. And some of the features that you can expect to see in the more well-done imagery of the total solar eclipse, those that were in the area of totality, especially those with proper solar telescopes, we'll be seeing some of these type of features. So you'll know if you're looking at a very active region, that it would be that northeastern portion. Of course, there is some activity happening down there in the southeast as well. There's a little tiny bit of activity in the west. But those are some of the features that you could expect to be seeing from the solar imagery. So that's a 48-hour video, rather, from SDO. And it's the house favorite wavelength, 171 angstroms all by itself. And yeah, some interesting stuff going on in terms of volcanic activity. Some great imagery to show you here. We'll go to that next. Again, that is a 48-hour video. So here's this cinder cone on the Reykjanes Peninsula. The only area of an active lava flow is coming from that brand new forming cinder cone. So it was just a volcanic fissure no more than a couple of weeks ago, and now we've got the formation of a new volcanic mountain forming. So that's always exciting. And Mount Etna has been producing dozens of steam rings. Yeah, Mount Etna there. Mount Etna saying, hey everybody, look at me, steam rings. Also, we've got the Fernandina volcano creating some new oceanside real estate there on one of the Galapagos Islands. Just a fantastically interesting scene there as lava makes it all the way to the ocean, creating some lava haze as lava violently reacts with the seawater, and yeah, new real estate forming there as those brand new bits of rock cool down. So also got some daytime imagery there of this new volcanic cinder cone at Reykjanes. Hey, why'd you stop playing? There it is. Very nice. And of course, we've got some great satellite imagery. We'll show you some moon shadows. And we'll refrain from most of the eclipse coverage because, well, we don't do what everybody else does. We prefer to set trends, not chase fads. Of course, eclipse viewing is not a fad, of course. Of course. We've also got Mount Abiko, Ibu, Luitoli, Luitobi, Luitolo, Semeru, Merapi, Dacono. Of course, like I said, Fernandina. Also, Popocatépetl, Fuego, Revenador, and Sabancaya all also erupting. As far as earthquakes go, there are the past 90 days. Here are the past 24 hours. The 5 and greater magnitude quakes included this 5.0 at Timor-Leste. It was at depth. Japan had a 5.1. New Zealand had a 5.1. What else you got? And that is it for the 5 and greater magnitude quakes. And by the way, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to press the like button. What do you think of the new branding? The new branding from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Yeah, we needed a little bit of a a retouching of the branding. So yeah, cheers. Thanks to all of our new viewers. Congratulations on realizing that the channel exists. It's only the world's most comprehensive daily space weather content and most detailed solar imagery. That's all. No big deal. Yeah, there's hardly a market for it. Yeah, with the emphasis on private space flight and stuff like that, why would you want to see the world's most comprehensive daily space weather? Anyway, moving right along to the radio flux, which is now down to 120. So that might be low enough to get you into your bunker. Let us know in the comments if you're spooked that the sun is shutting down. Make sure you tell us all about how the sun's shutting down, folks, as we see something like an average or possibly even slightly above average solar sunspot cycle for solar cycle 25. So there are the past year of data there from Solon.info, and sunspot number shown in red. The black line is the 10.7 centimeter radio flux. Again, a little dip since yesterday, now down to 120 solar flux units. NOAA and NASA, or at least NOAA and ESA, are forecasting a little bit of geomagnetic unrest, possibly from a coronal hole high-speed stream. I don't know why they think it'll be so strong, but some geomagnetic unrest in the forecast for tomorrow night, April 9th, into April 10th. So Tuesday night into Wednesday. Some higher likelihood of seeing the aurora there, at least according to NOAA and ESA. So there's NOAA's Enlil spiral, and you can see the plasma density jumping up there, and as it comes down, the velocity going up, the telltale sign of a coronal hole high-speed stream. If you haven't seen ESA's new portal, it has its own Enlil spiral, and it's quite a bit higher resolution, apparently, than NOAA's or NASA's. I'll let it play through in its entirety there. We see a number of coronal mass ejections, just not earthly directed ones, and with that, I tend to agree. So that's ESA's Enlil spiral, which you can find yourself, if you like, on the ESA new web portal, the brand new web portal. Here are the past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. We are still seeing the majority of the pressure in the magnetotail region, but things are equalizing, so to speak, in terms of magnetohydrodynamic pressure. That's the past 4 hours. Earth's magnetic moment from space. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground level. And again, things are geomagnetically calm. KP index is at 0.67. KP 0.67. Solar wind, quite nominal here. Pretty unremarkable. That's the ACE, by the way. That is the no, that's the Discover. Why is it the Discover? It's supposed to be the ACE. Let me switch it. Dear God, don't let me show you the wrong data there, folks. People will have. There will be a combunction. A combunction will form in the comments section. So there's the ACE, seeing a recent rapid and dubious-looking dip in the solar wind there, dropping down to incredibly low densities. Speed here below 400 kilometers a second, and the Discover showing a little more believable numbers there. Still quite low and quite slow, less than 2 protons per cubic centimeter density, less than 400 kilometers per second for the velocity. The GOES magnetometers are located in space. They're at about 23,000 miles of altitude in the outer portion of the outer Van Allen belts. There are their magnetometer readings, and things have been calm. Next, magnetic sectors, and it looks like Earth's stay in a North Pole-oriented magnetic sector will continue here for a couple more days, maybe even a few more days, as we've seen an extension of that magnetic sector happening. The line-of-sight field plot should help us to figure out why, and it has to do with incoming coronal holes evaporating. So South Pole-oriented coronal holes there have left the building. Here you'll see them vanish. There they go. So, now there is an uptick in coronal hole activity. You can expect to see an uptick in coronal hole activity for the next year as we have been underperforming in terms of coronal holes. So that's something that has to happen for the cycle to complete its pole reversal process. So we've got magnetic instability down there in the southeastern limb. So for coronal holes to vanish over that short period of time, they may be replaced with North Pole coronal holes. They may reform. They may reopen as South Pole coronal holes. But ultimately, that's showing us that there is an area there of quite uniform magnetism. See that coronal hole in the southeast? It's red, and whoops, now it's gone. Sunspot number. Oh, let's look at coronal holes here. How about if we look at coronal holes? That's an idea. We like to do that here at the Smash News Network, Least Busted Name and News, where we get in trouble for facts as opposed to editorialization, propaganda, corporatist nonsense, and so forth. So now, for some reason, we've got this slowed down. I don't know if that's I think it's 15 frames per second, and we've got a different period of time there. So it's only today. I don't know what happened. These were unrecoverable fails on my part. So that's the scenario. Sorry about that. And let's move on to sunspots. Sunspot number here has dipped a little bit now down to about 75, 76, 76. 76 trombones led the big parade. And 76 sunspots currently litter the solar disk. So there's the scenario in terms of flares and so on. And let's move on to sunspots from the ever-popular viewpoint of SDO. So there you go. And it's pretty unremarkable. So let's move on to energetic particles and solar flares. Energetic particles, we ain't got none, except the regular proton flux, which is at baseline. Baseline, I tell you. And as far as flares go, only one C-class intensification over the past 24 hours. You could maybe say three, I'll say two. Two C-class intensifications over the past 24 hours. And before we show that stuff, let's show this stuff. Dag! What's happened? What did I do here? Gond, what did I do? So there's 94 angstroms, and we don't have very large solar flare players at the moment. These sunspots are all pretty quiet. And let's move on to a star chart. So there's where things are now. We'll advance it 1 week. There's where things will be on tax day. Tax day, next Monday. Next Monday, folks. It's tax day. You're welcome. And here is our star chart showing us where things are located overhead right now. Venus is setting. And if you're viewing the pre-dawn sky tomorrow morning, you'll get a great view of Venus once again, rising before the sun. Today's astronomy photo of the day is... check it out. That's pretty freaking sweet indeed, folks. Pretty freaking sweet. Comet, whatever it's called, with the evolution of its tail there. So thought to be associated with its rotational speed, its interaction with solar wind, and more. There you can see one where it's barely got a tail. There you can see one jet-like appendage. There you can see a wavy jet-like appendage. Yeah, so there are all kinds of reasons. The rotation weight rate, the passing solar wind, the ejection rate of material from the nucleus. apod.nasa.gov if you want to take a look at it yourself. Comet Pons-Brooks. Pons-Brooks, folks. You've reached SNN, the Smash News Network Least Busted Name in News. I think we should copyright that. What do you think? Least Busted Name in News? I think it's yeah, that's a thing. Then let's move on to CMEs. So here are the past today to date, and it's pretty unremarkable there. One event make it two, both out of the east. They are both behind the solar limb. One very high speed event there. Look at the east, and whoops, very high speed event. And for some reason, the Space Weather Prediction Center's coronagraphs are showing like a week instead of, or 2 weeks instead of like 48 hours. Pretty weird. So one bit of very high speed ejecta there showing up right there at the end, just in the past few hours. And whoops. Take a look at that again here from a little closer view. Very high speed ejection there, captured. Just a little bit of plasma making its way out, but very fast, very, very fast. Look at that flyer. We'll also look at stereo A. Oh, it looks painfully behind. Well, not too bad. We've got it. Oh, we've got some of it. Well, the difference imagery has some of it. Let's just move on. Let's just move on because we've got custom coronagraphs. Now, these are in that slow speed again, so you should see that CME blasting off right here toward the... There it goes. There it goes. Keep your eyes on the left side of the screen. And... there it goes. We'll let it play through one more time. This is at a slower speed. Again, this is only... for some reason, this is only like 12 hours today. I must have pressed refresh or something. Somehow that... It's not the normal 24-hour video at 30 frames per second that we show, but hey, what can I say? This was an unrecoverable error. So, there's the full disk view, and we still got a lot of plasma filaments sort of pointed at the Earth. In fact, straight up pointed at the Earth. So that's what's going on. Let's get to filaments next. Filaments. There I am. So look at those huge plasma filaments there. Many of those are deserving of a name, especially this one right here. Well, the one right in the middle of the solar disk. It's very arc-like, and that one definitely could use a name. Just follow the hashtag #NameThatFilament over on Twitter, x.com/smashomash. Multiple filaments there. Definitely name-worthy. And before we get to bonus features and meteorology, there are the past couple of hours from the GO 16 SUVI. Things are pretty quiet when it comes to space weather. Bonus features are next. Charging hazards, we ain't got none. The electron flux is, well, there it is. A picture says 1,000 words. I'll say less. There is the 1 year relativistic electron flux measured at the F layer of the ionosphere. There's a forecast model, and there is the ionosphere. There's a diagram. We show that so people understand where the F layer is located. It's at like 300 kilometers of altitude. And here it is in vibrational frequency, or megahertz, millions of vibrations per second. That is what's going on at the bridge between Earth and space. So quite a lot of low-frequency anomalies there at the beginning. Those should be subsiding toward the end. Well, still quite a lot of low-frequency anomalies there. So what can I say? There's the data that depicts anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. And, yeah, that's what's going on at the bridge between Earth and space. So we also show total electron content and maximum usable frequency daily on the channel. You never know when archiving data might help you out, folks, so we tie it all together for the past nearly 6 years. So understanding how the data correlates is a big deal. And sometimes it exposes anomalies, and sometimes it exposes reality. So we'll close out with the latest. And we do have a new sunspot right up here, it looks like. I suspect that is a sunspot, not quite able to be seen yet, but it does look like there's a sunspot there. So not a lot of changes happening since yesterday. And here comes meteorology, starting with the stormiest seas in the world, which are south of Australia in the Southern Ocean. That is depicting significant wave height and surface winds. Anyway, there are the surface winds of the east. The jet streams will show them for the whole planet. Once again, jet streams, surface winds, still surface winds, and once again, jet streams. So check it out. We've got some fantastic... I'm going to scroll this one real slow today because we've got a moon shadow, moon shadow. Of course, lots of folks tuning into the splentacular total solar eclipse. Unfortunately, there were lots and lots of clouds. Of course, we photographed plenty of clouds ourselves, and I should say myself. But there you can see that shadow making its way across and then making a hard right to the east, accelerating to incredible speeds as it makes its way across the North Atlantic. How cool is that? The answer is, that is awesome. And look at those clouds right across the area of totality. Oh, well, the northern half, well, it looks like it was clear in the northern half. So Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Lake Erie. Lake Erie. Got some great imagery, I suspect. It looks like Erie was... Well, there might have been some hazy clouds. I don't know. Anyway, precipitation type is next. And we've still got snow continuing to fall in some locations. Windy.com's got a great mobile app if you've never checked it out. I don't care, but it does work pretty well. So there is our weather.gov map. If your location is lit, click your location from the National Weather Service homepage, weather.gov. Some severe weather around the Gulf and some torrential rains coming, looking even worse than they did yesterday. Look at these forecasts. These forecasts are bonkers. These forecasts are berserk, folks. Berserk. So Arkansas, Oklahoma, but especially Arkansas. Did I say Arkansas? You're going to get plastered with rain. Make sure you have your ball cock in your boat, because you might be needing it to travel to the grocery store. So first we're going to show snow depth change, but that's not the real story here, because that stuff is pretty chill compared to this. Feast your eyes on that, as now that we're forecasting oh geez, 8 inches of rain. 8 inches of rain in portions of, maybe even a foot of rain in portions of Arkansas, also Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, parts of Texas. Look at the rains. That is an unfortunate scenario. That is going to be biblical scale flooding. Dag, that's bonkers. So be aware of that. And here's our temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius. And we've got some warm weather coming to the northeast, baby. And I'll take it. I've had enough of winter, and so bring on the suntan. Yeah, for real. So next is lightning, and you'll see a moon shadow go across that image also. If you look closely there, you can see it. Well, it's pretty crap, so let's just move on to our real-time lightning map from lightningmaps.org. And we've already got some severe thunderstorms there. Well, not too severe. Oh, you be the judge. Let us know in the comments how severe you think that is. Davy Crockett National Forest there. There's thunder rolling into Palestine, Texas as well. Next time you hear thunder, I highly recommend it. lightningmaps.org. And if you don't visit it when you hear thunder next time, then that's on you, especially now that you know it exists. Yes, it tracks thunder. You could forecast thunder with it, folks. If you want the natives to think that you're Thor, or perhaps Zeus. Anyway, here is our Doppler radar. Here is our spectacular visible satellite. How you like them apples? And there is the water vapor map. And again, the northerly reaches of those states, like Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Lake Erie, and parts of New England, and parts of Canada, like Nova Scotia. And I don't know what that other one is. Is that New Brunswick? I don't know my Canadian provinces very well, but here's your recap. Doppler radar, visible satellite, and water vapor. And it's time to close this out. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. If you've got eclipse imagery, hit us up on social media, on X, on Instagram. Those are the best places. You can also find us on Facebook. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Don't forget to visit the links below the video. Help support the channel by pressing the like button. If you're new to the channel, press subscribe, and we'll see you soon. But in the meantime, may that solar wind be at your back.